Lessons for Living, Part 6. Change Your Mind, Change Your Life. Savio Publications. Chapter 1. Be a hero, be a heroine. If we did all the things we are capable of doing, we would literally astonish ourselves. Thomas Alva Edison. One day in October 1998, two girls were attacked by a man in a train in Mumbai. He tried to grab their purses. They resisted. He got so angry that he pushed them out of the running train. One of the girls, Joyabala Asher by name, fell under the train and its wheels cut off both her legs. There were three other girls in the same compartment at this time. None of them helped these two girls. Later, the police and the parents of Joyabala appealed to these girls on television, the radio, and in the newspaper to come forward to help the police. They never did. Probably they were ashamed of the cowardice they had shown on the train. They committed a second act of cowardice to cover up the first. Asnu Singh, 25, and her friends Preeti, 23, and Gayatri, 23, were on 28th May 1999 outside a cinema hall in Connaught Place in New Delhi. Two youths snatched the bag of Asnu and ran away. Three policemen on duty refused to help her. The three girls chased the youngsters, tackled them, got the bag back, and handed the young man over to the police. Suhasini Mistry used to sell vegetables and fish near Park Circus in Kolkata. In the evening, she worked as a housemaid. She was so poor she could look after only the elders of her four children, who helped her sell vegetables. The other three were placed in government-run homes, and they studied. Suhasini suffered as she helplessly watched her husband die of a heart attack. Unable to pay for medical treatment, one son, Ajay, became a doctor. In 1992, she put together all her savings of 28 years. All her savings of 21 years, rupees 40,000, and brought a piece of land that her husband used to cultivate. There, she started a thatched roof hospital for the poor. Inspired by her hard work and dedication, her children and several doctors helped her. And today, her humanity hospital serves the sick among the poorest people of the area. It also sustains a number of self-help groups. In November 1998, a shoeshine boy found in the Parshuram Express a bundle containing of rupees 25,000. That is more money than he could expect to earn in years of shining shoes. But he handed the money over to the police because he did not want anything that did not rightly belong to him. Mother Teresa became one of the greatest heroines of our times. She was not always the saint of the gutters, as she came to be known later. She was at first a member of a society that runs a famous school in Kolkata. One evening, as she was walking down the street, she heard a woman crying out for help. She took a decision on the spot. Mother took the woman home. Later that night, she died in the comfort of mother's loving arms. Take defeat in your stride. Mother then took another courageous step. She decided to come out of the convent and began a new chapter in her life. she decided to live only for the poorest people of her neighborhood. A simple woman, not very talented or qualified, a foreigner with no money, she had the courage to take the risk. She knew what God wanted her to do, and she did it. In May 2004, Shweta Narang, a pretty girl of Indore, married Captain Malay Acharya. Shweta is Punjabi, Malay is Bengali. They met when Malay went to visit his sister at Indore. The two became friends and kept up a steady correspondence. In February 2002, Malay was injured in the course of Operation Parakram on the border with Pakistan. He became paralyzed from the waist down. Despite opposition from her parents and other family members, Shweta decided to go ahead and marry this paralyzed ex-soldier. What makes some people capable of doing what they know to be right, despite the great sacrifices their action will cost them? Heroic in little things. No one is born great. They become great. They become capable of great sacrifices when they are grown up because they made small sacrifices when they were growing up. The history of the world is the story of people who did great things, but first they did small things extraordinarily well. When Gandhi was young, he was able to overcome the temptation to eat something that was forbidden by his parents. Many little acts of this kind gave him the strength later in life to face for greater challenges. If you really want to grow up to be great one day, the next time you have to make a choice. Choose for what is right even if it means a little sacrifice to you. Keep doing that every time and one day you will become someone to be remembered in history. Be great in your own way. When we read biographies of great people, every book makes us want to become similar to the greatest person we are reading about. Every good film we see leaves us wanting to imitate the hero or heroine. Everyone admires Mother Teresa, Nelson Mandela, or Mahatma Gandhi, but we do not need to be the Mahatma or the mother to become great. We need to be great in our own way. Siksa Jain of Imphal, Manipur was injured in a bomb blast of November 10, 1994. She became paralyzed from the waist down. She was studying in Jain Mahavir Higher Secondary School, where Sharda Jain, her mother, was a teacher. From 1994 till 2003, Sharda Jain carried her daughter daily to and from the school. In 2004, Siksa wrote her higher secondary examinations. When the results were declared, everyone was overjoyed to find that Siksa had topped the list of commerce students of the entire state. In 1999, Vinita Singhania gave birth to Anshuman. It was evident right from his birth that the boy was mentally retarded. Only a year later, a second tragedy struck Vinita when her husband died after a heart attack. But Vinita made a decision. She resolved that she and her child would lead a normal life with dignity and head held high. She became so successful in educating Anshuman that today she even takes classes for other parents who have mentally retarded children. Siksa Jain, her mother Sharda Jain, and Vinita Singhania deserves to be considered heroines of our day. They showed what can be called that I can attitude. I can. They did not sink into despair at the tragedies that befell them. They faced the difficulties that came on their way and dealt with them to live normal lives. normal life. Convictions of your own. The tea garden workers of Champaran were treated very badly by the British planters. Gandhi went to study their problems. Someone reported to him, "The planters at this place is very bad. He has hired people to kill you in secret." One night Gandhiji went to the house of the planter and said, "I hear that you want to kill me. I have come to your house all alone. No one knows I am here. If you like, you can kill me right now." The poor planter stood there, completely stunned. A hero knows clearly what is right and wrong. That gives him the courage to decide well. We must choose for ourselves that we want to do, what we want to do. It is not enough to do the right thing only when parents or teachers ask us to. We must not do all that our friends ask of us when we know that what they are asking us is wrong. Many people know what is right. Not all of them have the strength of will to do what is right. Be optimistic. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing, says Helen Keller. She was not discouraged by her handicap. She was deaf, dumb, and blind. She proved herself a heroine. Learn to take calculated risk. We should not be afraid of failure, but neither should we jump into danger without thinking. A wise man makes a quick study of the situation and of its capacities and limitations, and then decides what to do. Anyone who does something for the first time is taking some risk. Risk-taking is the essence of invention, declared Herman Cain. Take defeat in your stride. Magician P.C. Sarkar Jr. was very poor in mathematics. His score used to be even as low as 5 or 6 marks. He considered himself lucky when he passed matriculation. He became as great a magician as his father. Almost everyone in the family of Shubha Prasanna was a doctor, and they wanted him also to become one. But he passed his matriculation only with great difficulty. He went on to become a famous painter. Narendranath scored only 47 in English, 38 in mathematics, and 45 in history at the high school leaving certificate examinations. But he became Swami Vivekananda, that everyone knows about. Dev Kumar Sarkar was a car racer. In 1992, he had an accident and his left leg was amputated. He refused to accept defeat. Passion does not get affected by difficulties, and driving is my passion, he said. In November 2004, he took part in the inaugural India Asian Car Rally, an 8,000-kilometer drive over three-course road. How prepared are you to be a hero or heroine? You are writing your examinations. You do not know the answer to a question. You do not ask your neighbor for the answer, but he shows it to you. Will you look at the answer? How often do you deny yourself an ice cream to give the money away to some hungry person on the street? You see someone bullying a child. Will you go to help the child? You accidentally broke something. You're sure no one saw you do it. Will you all the same tell your parents or your teachers about it? Your friend asks you to do something you know is not right. Will you do because he is your friend? Exercise. Answer the following questions. A. In what way did Mother Teresa show herself to be courageous? B. How did Gandhi show courage when he was young? C. Why are little acts of courage important? D. Should we try to become just like the great people of the past? E. What attitude should we have to be able to do courageous things? F. Is it enough to do the thing right only when parents or teachers ask us to? G. How should we take risks? Discuss. Becoming a hero is not worth the sacrifices it demands. Something to do. Make a poster with pictures of all your heroes and heroines on it. Below each picture, write in a word or two what you admire most about him. Something to think about. It is more important to be a hero in my own eyes than in the eyes of others. I achieve this every time I do what I know to be right, even if no one sees me. Something to memorize. Nothing splendid has ever been achieved except those who dared to believe that something inside of them was superior to circumstance. Bruce Button. Hold yourself responsible for a higher standard than anybody else expects of you. Henry Ward Beecher. No man can reap good without incurring danger. Mahabharata, Shanti Parva, 140:34. As heaven and earth are not afraid, and never suffers loss or harm, even so my spirit fear not do. As day and night are not afraid, nor even suffer loss or harm, even so my spirit fears not do. Atharva Veda 2:15:1-6. Behold the turtle. It makes no progress unless it sticks its neck out. Chapter 2. Health. You are a student of class 6. This means you are probably between 11 and 13 years in age. Soon you will start growing very fast. Everyone likes to be strong, tall, healthy, and handsome or pretty. It is important to give particular attention to your health at this time. If you do not, you may not grow as fully as you should. No matter what you do after you cross a certain age, you can never make up for the loss of growth at this age. If you are careless about your health, you could suffer seriously later in life. Rakesh was an intelligent boy studying in class 6 when one day his friend asked him to smell something on his handkerchief. After he sniffed at it a few times, he felt hot all over the body. He thought it was a nice feeling. He asked his friend what it was, but he said he did not know. It was just the handkerchief he had seen his elder brother sniffing. The two boys used to sniff the thing every now and then till, after some months, it did not make them feel as nice as it used to. But then his friend brought a tablet to the school and gave it to Rakesh to swallow. This once again made him feel strange and cheerful. It went on like this over the years till one day, by the time they were in class 9, They realized that if they did not take these tablets several times a day, they felt sick and totally uncomfortable. They talked to a teacher about it, and only then they understood that they had got addicted to drugs and they would need special treatment to get cured of it. They were afraid to tell their parents about it. Instead, they would steal money from them to buy the tablets they needed. By the end of class 10, they are not able to concentrate on their studies anymore, and they failed in the board examinations. Jessie was also in class 6 when a new restaurant opened right near their school gate. All the students felt it was important to have something in this new shop every day. If anyone did not go there, everyone made her feel ashamed. As though she were from a very poor family, Jessie was from a rich family but was not popular with her friends. She thought going to the restaurant was a good way to win the respect of her companions. In the morning, she would tell her mother she was not hungry. She would then go and eat at the restaurant before class. At recess, she would again eat and drink there. Before going home in the afternoon, she would once again having something at this place. She ate very little on the food prepared at home. By the time she was in class 9, she had grown very fat and unhealthy. The doctor said she was obese. It is at your age that you acquire good or bad habits that will make you a healthy or a sick person later in life. Here are some very important things you have to see to if you are to grow up to be all that you can be in life. Be careful of what you eat. Your parents love you and want what is best for you. You can safely eat all that your mother prepares for you at home. You may not find vegetables very tasty, but you will start liking them if you eat them regularly. Fruits and vegetables keep you healthy. You might have heard the expression junk food. Ask your teacher to give you some examples of it. Avoid junk food as far as possible. Drink water, milk, and fruit juice rather than bottled drinks. In August 2005, the producers of the two best-known soft drinks in the world made an agreement not to sell their products in school canteens in the USA. They recognized the harm their soft drinks could do to the health of growing children. Because you are growing so fast, you may at times feel awkward. You may even feel that you are becoming ugly. Do not worry about it. Our arms and legs and other bones in our body do not all grow at the same speed. Some parts grow faster than others. Our internal organs also grow at a different rate. By the time you are 16 or 18, all your body parts will once again be proportionate and you will look wonderful. If you eat healthy food, you do not need to worry about your appearance as you grow up. Healthy food will make you handsome and beautiful without any special treatment. Do not use creams and ointments unless a doctor tells you to. You might have developed the habit of sharing food with your friends at school. This is a good habit, but if by any chance something you ate from someone makes you feel unusually hot, cold, sleepy, unable to sleep, or extra cheerful, active or sad, or strange in any manner, stop eating with that companion. Refuse anything he offers you. Develop a regular routine for the activities you have to do every day. Rising in the morning, going to the toilet, bathing, studying, meals, games or exercise, hobbies, watching television, time with your family, time with your friends, bedtime, etc. Regular habits in all these things make life much more pleasant and healthy. As you grow taller, you will also experience other changes in your body. If you are not sure whether anything that is happening to you is normal, ask your parents or teachers about it. It is not enough to talk to your friends. They are only as old as you are and they know more or less only as much as you know. Your parent or your teachers can guide you better. It is normal that as we play or work together, we touch each other for the purpose of our activity. But if someone touches you in any manner that makes you feel uncomfortable, tell your parents about it. We live in a hot country and we perspire a lot, especially as we grow older. We should bath at least once a day and possibly every morning and evening. We change our underclothes at least once every day. Having the same clothes next to our skin day after day is very unhealthy. There are bad habits that your elders have often spoken to you about, such as smoking, using tobacco in various forms, taking alcohol, etc. Avoid this. Perhaps your parents or teachers use some of these things, but they are already adults. These things are not good for them either, but they are even worse of you. You are growing. If you start destroying your lungs or your brain even before they are fully grown, you could develop serious health problems later in life. Avoid extremes. Do not eat too much. Do not eat too little. Thinking you are getting too fat. Do not play or exercise till you are exhausted. Do not be lazy and avoid all games and exercise. Do not study all day, nor watch television all day. Do not spend all your time chatting with friends, nor avoid meeting anyone outside the family. There is a time for everything in life and we need moderation in everything. The Romans used to say, in medio stat virtus, which means moderation is true virtue. Our own ancestors used to say, even amrut taken in excess is position. Here are some most safety rules for us to keep in mind. We do not go swimming without being accompanied by at least one adult who swims well. We do not swim soon after a warm meal. We are very careful when crossing roads. We do not play with the gears in a parked car. We do not play any games with fire, matches, petrol or kerosene. We do not run around in the bus, not put our head or hands out of the bus. We do not get into a bus or come out of it till it has stopped moving completely. We use the seat belts provided in the car. We use a helmet when we ride behind someone or a scooter or motorcycle. We do not go riding bicycles side by side with our friends in a row. We are careful when we play with kites. We do not fly them from a terrace without trailing. We avoid fireworks at Diwali or other celebrations. We do not eat uncovered food from roadside stalls. We make sure the colors we use at Holi do not have dangerous chemicals in them. We are careful if we decide to clean trees. We do not go into forbidden place. There could be dogs, chemicals or other dangerous there. We use gates and doors, not climb over walls or fences. We walk down the stairs, not run. Sliding down handrails or stairs can be dangerous. We do not go anywhere with people we do not know, even if they say that they have been sent by our parents. We learn a minimum of first aid through Scouting, Junior Red Cross, St. John's Ambulance Association, etc. Exercise. Answer the following questions. Why is it important to develop good habits at your age? B. To whom should we talk if we have doubts about change in our body? C. How often should we change our underclothes? D. What are some of the bad habits we should avoid? E. What did the Romans mean when they say, in medio start virtues? F. Write down at least 5 safety rules. 2. Which of the following rules should you obey? If the rule is wrong, write down the correct rule. A. Always eat whatever people offers you. B. Do not run around in the bus. C. Do not go anywhere with people you do not know. D. Do not develop any regular habits for meals, sleep, games, study, work, etc. E. Run down to the obstacles as fast as you can. Use gates and doors, not climb over walls and fences. 3. Discuss. Which is the most important rule for you, for your health among all those given in the chapter? 4. Something to do. Make a routine for yourself. 5. Something to think about. It would be foolish to do something that gives me a little enjoyment right now but makes me sick for the rest of my life. Chapter 3. Today is the day. God, please help me at these examinations. Lord, I am not ready for them. I know I should have studied my lessons daily. I promise I will do that in future. I know that I have promised this before and I forgot. The next time I will not. Help me just once more. Immediately after this exam, I will make a routine for my day and I will study each and every single day. I will never again leave my studies for the last day. Help me just this once more. How many times have we said this prayer? Some people are always in a hurry because they are always a little late. They are generally people who put things off for late. Putting off for tomorrow what we can do today only adds to our problems. A man in Madhya Pradesh once went hunting in the forest, armed with a sling. After his stones were finished, he noticed a large bird at a tree. He saw some fine stones lying around and collected all of them. He shot them one by one at the bird. The bird flew off and the stones fell into the pool in the river below the tree. He was left with one last pebble from what he had gathered. He was about to throw it away too, but he saw it was pretty and he saved it as a toy for his little daughter. On the way home, he met a diamond merchant who noticed the stone in his hand and recognized it immediately. It was a diamond. The hunter could only lament his bad fortune. He had not realized at the right time the true value of the stone he had thrown into the river. You can see that this is a made-up story. It is not a true day-to-day story like most of the others in this book. This is because no one writes about people who have postponed tasks for their opportunities and ended up as failures. Every today is precious. Once lost, it can never be recovered. How many precious today have you wasted doing nothing? There is no tomorrow. It is found only in the calendars of fools. For them, tomorrow is the day when they will start studying. Tomorrow is the day they will correct their mistakes, work harder, change their habits, repair broken friendships, repay old habits, study better, do the homework on time. Yes, do everything, but yes, tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes. We have only today. You can do anything that you can do. You are strong, capable, and not afraid. But by putting things off for a future moment, you are giving in to laziness and self-doubt. You are cheating yourself. In order to get most of today, we concentrate our attention on it. It is useless to worry about yesterday. We cannot change what has happened. It is foolish to wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow will bring enough of its own work. Lord, for tomorrow and its needs, I do not pray. Let me be happy and content just for today. Why we put things off? Putting things off allows us to escape just for time, of course, from unpleasant activities. There are things we are afraid to do or we do not enjoy doing. There are things a part of wants to do and a part of us does not. Some of us wait for things to get better. It is wrong to wait for the situation to become perfect before we start work. Instead, we accept the things we cannot change and we do what we need to. Change is painful. It is difficult. It is risky. Some people prefer to stay exactly as they are forever, so they avoid changing their habits. Some other want to escape their responsibility by saying study or work is boring. Instead of blaming themselves, they blame the boring study or work. There are people with no self-confidence. They can avoid failures by avoiding all challenging activities. In this way, they never have to come face to face with their lack of ability. Some people are looking for sympathy from others. They want others to think they have too many things to study or do. All these people have not grown up. They are waiting for other people to do everything for them. By putting things off, they hope someone else will do them. Delaying may be a means of manipulating others. Some other think if they do a thing well, people may ask them to do even more. By avoiding a task, they avoid success. If they do not succeed, others will not ask them to do more. They are so lazy, they do not want success. Start today. Once we get into the habit of putting things off until tomorrow, it is difficult to change. This is a clear proof that we are not winners. We will lose always. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. You cannot be successful if you do not do each day its work. Here are some suggestions to cure yourself of the habit of putting off things. 1. Live one day at a time. Think about today and try to use it to do what you need to. Refuse to put off anything that could bring you true joy and satisfaction. 2. Do something right now, however small it be. Perhaps your room, assignment, or helping someone in need. 3. Make for yourself a daily routine. Make your own program and stick to it. For example, from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., I will concentrate on my studies and reading. You will notice that your hard work will give you great joy and happiness. 4. Set small targets for yourself and set time limits within which to achieve them. For example, by this evening I will memorize 2 stanzas of this poem, or I will learn 5 new words every day. You will thus build up your confidence in your capacity to achieve whatever you want to do and at the proper time. 5. Be courageous about undertaking an activity that you have been avoiding. Taking the first step can remove all that fear. Perhaps in the beginning you will have to work hard to realize your goals, but slowly you will see results. If you want the world to change, don't complain about it. Do something. Be a doer, not a wisher, hoper, or critic. If you need something to be done urgently, ask the busy man. The truly busy man does each day what he needs to do and can make the time to do something more. The lazy man keeps postponing tasks and find no time to do anything at all. Study today what you need to study today. Exercise. Answer the following questions. A. Why do we postpone tasks to later? B. How can we cure ourselves of the habit of putting off our tasks? C. What is the importance of setting targets? D. What should you do if you want the world to change? E. Whom should you ask if you need something to be done urgently? Discuss. Doing things well is more important than doing things on time. Something to do. Make a list of all that you need to study and all the tasks you have to complete. Put them in the order of their importance and start doing them. Something to think about. Tasks that we put off for later do not generally become easier to do. They become more difficult. Something to memorize. Look to this day. Look to this day, for it is life, the very life of life. In its brief course lie all the varieties and realities of your existence, the bliss of growth, the glory of action, the splendor of beauty. For yesterday is but a dream, and tomorrow is only a vision. But today, well lived, makes every yesterday a dream of happiness, and every tomorrow a vision of hope. Well, therefore, to this, such is the solution of the dawn from Sanskrit. Not a moment should escape for they who allow the right moment to pass suffer pain when they are in hell. Dhammapada 22. Never put off till tomorrow that which you can do today. Benjamin Franklin. How do you define your use of time? Are you spending it, wasting it, or killing it? It's been said that killing time is not murder. It is suicide. Anthony Robbins. Putting off an easy thing makes it hard, and putting off a hard one makes it impossible. George H. Lorimer. Chapter 4. Bullying. From early childhood, Somu was always eager to go to school. He used to see children from the neighborhood dressed up very smartly, carrying a bag of books on their back and waiting for the school bus. But of course, he was too young yet to attend a regular school. His demands became so strong that in order to pacify him, his parents had to buy him a school bag and school books. They stitched for him the uniform for his favorite school and allowed him to dress up in it every day, though he could not go to school yet. Finally, Samu was admitted to school and he was a truly happy boy. He was all dressed up and ready for school every morning well before the school bus arrived. He enjoyed his classes. He made many friends among his classmates. He liked his teachers. He came home happily even afternoon. He did his homework regularly and made progress in his studies. Rapid progress. After 3 months of class, things began to change gradually. Samu's parents noticed that he was very tired and hungry when he returned home after school. Every now and then, he would complain that he was too tired or had a headache and could not go to school that day. Sometimes he would lose his pencil or a textbook was torn. At times, his uniform was very dirty or even torn, and he had no good explanation for it. He did not talk. He did not talk cheerfully about his activities at school as he used before. Samu's parents were very concerned. After several days of sitting with him and talking to him, one day he suddenly burst into tears and said that he did not want to go to school anymore. But why, my child? Asked his mother. You always wanted so much to go to school, and you used to enjoy yourself so much there. Little by little, the whole story of Sonu poured out. A few weeks after Sonu had joined school, a big boy from a higher class came to him. Manoj, that was the senior boy's name, came to Sonu at lunch break and told him to open his lunch box. Manoj took away the omelette in Sonu's lunchbox and threatened to beat him up if he complained to the teacher or told his parents. Soon this became a regular event. Manoj would snatch whatever he liked best from Sonu's lunchbox. At times he took away his entire lunch. If Manoj lost his pencil, he would take that of Somu. If Somu resisted in any way, Manoj would tear up his textbook or throw him to the ground, sit on him, give him a few blows and threaten to kill him. Somu was so young, small and weak that he believed the threats of Manoj. He was afraid. Somu's parents now understood what was behind the change in his behavior. What Somu experienced at school is not rare. Many students come across bigger or older schoolmates who bully them. The parents of some of them are not like Somu's parents. They think their children have really lost interest in studies. If they themselves are not very well educated, they may not find out the real reason behind the change of their child's behavior. They may allow them to stop studying. Many students drop out of school this way. Their entire future is ruined. Some other students survive at school but suffer a lot of fear, pain and misery for several years. Researchers in the United States of America reported in 2005 that bullying leaves an effect on children that cannot be remedied later. Even in later life as adults, they flee from stressful studies, stressful situations rather than solve them. Children who are built lose self-confidence. When they grow older, they may become depressed or violent. What is bullying? Bullies are people who frighten smaller or younger children. They use their physical strength to take away the belongings of their weaker companions. They may make them do things for them. From time to time, they beat up classmates who are smaller than they are. They threaten them with even worse things if they complain to the teacher or their parents. Why do people bully others? Most bullies are not very intelligent. They do not sign out at school. They think badly about themselves. They feel they are not as good as others. They are not very popular with their companions. They are envious of those who do well in their studies. They think that by beating up some companions and taking away their things, they show how brave they are. They think they will get the respect of others, that they will be admired. But of course, no one admires a bully. Instead, the intelligent and successful students at school may be afraid of bullies, but actually despise them. Behave the way they do because they are themselves built at home. Their parents or their brothers and sisters or other relatives may be beating them at home for no reason at all. They see the violent behavior of their elders or people who suffer. They are made to suffer by people stronger than they are. So they cause suffering to others who are weaker than they are. Some others who are bullies at school are bullies also at home. For one reason or another, they have succeeded to get at home whatever they want to. No one can refuse them anything. They always get their way in their family, so they think they can do anything they want at school too. Still, other bullies behave as they do because they do not get enough love and care at home. No one pays any attention to them. Perhaps their parents are too busy at work or are sick or have a lot of problems and worries. Their elders have no time to spend with them. No one respects them at home, so they look for attention and respect in this wrong way by bullying children smaller than they are. Bullies are actual not brave people at all. They are afraid. They threaten only people who are weaker than they are. They never attack someone who is bigger than they are. If someone they are bullying all on a sudden stands up against them, they become afraid. They stop bullying him and look for smaller victims also. When parents or teachers are informed of their behavior, bullies do not actually do what they threatened to do in order to frighten their victims. Instead, they become very afraid of punishment. We should not be bullies. Good children do not bully anyone. We should not be afraid of bullies. We feel sorry for them because of the problems they face in themselves or in their family. If someone is bullying you, talk to your parents or teachers about it. Answer the following questions. A. Who is a bully? B. What does a bully do? C. What are the bad consequences of bullying? D. Give 3 reasons why bullies behavior as they do. E. Are bullies really brave people? F. What should you do if someone is bullying you? Two. Choose the right word. Bullies are people who frighten bigger or smaller children. B. Bullies use their strength to take away the belongings of their weaker or stronger companions. C. Bullies are not bullies are proud or envious of those who do well in studies. E. Bullies feel they are not as good or bad as others. F. Bullies are not very unpopular or popular with their companions. G. No one despises or admires a bully. 3. Discuss. A. Am I a bully? Why do I feel like bullying other children? B. What is the right way to deal with bullies? 4. Something to do. A. If you are a bully, stop being one. B. If you are being bullied by someone, talk to your parent about it. 5. Something to think about. It is no great achievement to beat up someone smaller than I am. 6. Something to memorize. Oh, it is quite to use it like giant. Shakespeare. What is strength without a double share of wisdom? Strength is not made to rule, but to serve. Where wisdom bears command, wisdom. The courage is poorly housed, which dwells in numbers. Hill. Chapter 5. Children of the Same God. Some years ago, a film was made with the title Children of a Lesser God. The heroine in this film was a mute lady. Perhaps the producers of the film hold the view that handicapped people are children of a lesser God. This is a false notion. We are all children of the same great God. To show them respect, they are referred to as physically or mentally challenged. Heroes of a great God. Divya Arora is spastic. Every movement, even walking, talking and painting, is extremely difficult for her. She studied sociology at Lady Shriram College at New Delhi. She scored 86.5% in class 12. She swims, rides horses, writes poetry, paints, and is a theatre director. She is fluent in French. R.S. Chauhan lost his sight at the age of 4 due to smallpox, but he did his M.A. Political Science, M.Ed. Diploma in Special Education, and Diploma in the Rehabilitation of the Handicapped. He has written 2 books, one in English and other in Hindi, and dedicates his life to the service of people like himself. Wasim Kapoor never went to school. He was crippled at the age of 6 months when he fell out of his bed. He passed matriculation as a private candidate and became the renowned painter he is today. Laisram Yashithavi of Manipur has been unable to use her hands since childhood. She learned to use her feet to do beautiful embroidery. She even threads her own needles using her toes alone. For Indian athletes participated in the Paralympics held at Sydney soon after the normal Summer Olympics of 2000, 20-year-old Vikram Singh Adhikari from Mumbai said, "My right leg was affected by polio when I was 2. I dreaded the sports field as there would be all kinds of comments. With encouragement from my parents and three siblings, I joined the gym at the Pacific Games 1999. I won the gold, which boosted my morale. Efforts to help. Delhi has more than a dozen schools for special children who are mentally or physically challenged in various ways. The Nai Disha School in Vasant Bihar gives children skills that can help them earn a living on their own. 18-year-old Manu is employed now at a factory in Krishnanagar and takes a bus to and from his workplace. There are many such schools all over the country, but not as many as needed. 80 students from the Central Institute of Mental Retardation at Murinjanpuram in Thiruvananthapuram participated in the Republic Day parade in 1999. Friend Thomas Felix, who runs the center, says his mother used to cry every day out of gratitude to God. Because all her children were born normal, he grew up seeing a handicapped child next door. Later in life, he developed a system of his own to educate mentally retarded children. Look at our Sony, says Felix. He cannot speak, but when he cannot speak, but when he plays the role of Rama, or when he dances, nobody will believe there is anything wrong with him. Similarly, Prila is a big draw on the stage. She has problems with her knees, but when she begins to act, her acting is just excellent. Therefore, Felix gives three guidance in helping the handicapped. 1. Give them a lot of love. 2. Do not discourage them. Do not force them to do what they cannot and then judge them. 3. Do not go in for formal teaching. The All India Confederation of the Blind knows that India will soon be considered a near-developed country. Our result of this will be that less money for the blind will come in from abroad. The Confederation is now setting up a fund. They are trying to get 1,000 schools spread across the country to collect old newspapers to support the blind. This simple strategy alone will yield enough money to keep their work going. Recreation. Even those children who are given an opportunity to study are usually left at home when the rest of the family goes on outings or for social functions. But also the special children need relaxation. The Tamanna Association started a Saturday club to give the children the opportunity to meet their needs for fun. Shama Chona, the president of the association, says she wants this club to be a special gymkhana, a place that's open to all special people, their parents, friends, and volunteers. They encourage normal children to go and play with the handicapped. On Children's Day 2000, 175 physically handicapped children of Kochi were taken on an hour-long flight in an Air India Airbus. The flight would normally have cost about 2.25 lakh. The costs were minimized by sponsorship by Kochi International Airport, petroleum companies, and others. The Operating team and cabin crew offered their service free. Employment. Physically challenged people find it difficult to get work. Groups of lawyers are forming cells to give free counseling to them to fight for their rights. Two universities and a voluntary organization have set up circles of support at Dhenkanal in Odisha to help the handicapped achieve their aspirations. In 2004, Jyotsna Sanal of Dibrugarh in Assam formed self-help groups of physically challenged people. Members of these groups make jute bags and earn a steady income. Attitudes. On 14th November 1999, Rajiv Gaulati discovered 20-year-old Guriya who had been locked away all of her life in a room without any light. She had never stepped out of the house. She had never seen sunlight. She had been hidden away by her three brothers. They were absent of her because she was physically handicapped. Guriya's case is not unique. 12-year-old Sonu was locked up in a room on the terrace of his family home in Nehru Vihar in East Delhi. He was mentally retarded. He had seen the world only through a 1 square foot hole in the wall through which even his foot is passed to him. Initially, he did receive some medical treatment, but when not much improvement was seen, his parents locked him up for good. 26-year-old earned decade of medal in Andhra Pradesh was disabled. He was despised by his classmates. His father himself was handicapped. He completed his BCom from Osmania University and enrolled for an MBA program. He also learned typewriting and computer applications. 19-year-old Sonali Mahapatra of Jagatsinghpur in Odisha became deaf at the age of 5. Today she is an Odissi dancer. Her father says the toughest part of her battle was the negative attitude of society. Gopal, a 25-year-old artist in Agartala, wanted to do the impossible, teach painting to blind children. The principal of one blind school refused to allow him even to try. He started his own school of painting for the blind. 4 of his students, Biplab Biswas, Nishikanto Malakar, Ganesh Devnath, Ramu Devnath and Gopinath Poddar held exhibitions of their paintings at Agartala in 2001 and at Delhi in 2003 and gifted a painting to the President APJ Abdul Kalam. Some say there are 70 million handicapped persons in India. They are all children of God as I am. They are handicapped, not because they wanted to be, but due to some accident. I treat them with love. I respect them. I help them in whatever way I can. Exercise. Answer the following questions. A. Give some examples of physically or mentally challenged people who have done well in life. B. Is it easy for a handicapped person to find a job? C. Give some examples of effort to help the handicapped. D. How is the All India Confederation for the Blind trying to raise funds for the blind? E. What are the guidelines given by F.R. Thomas Follis for dealing with the physically or mentally challenged? F. What is the usual attitude towards the handicapped? Give examples. 2. Answer in 2 or 3 words. A. There are physically challenged children left when the family goes out for social functions? B. What opportunity does Tamanna provide physically handicapped children? C. Why does the All India Confederation of the Blind want schools to collect old newspapers? D. What was the toughest part of Sonali Mahapasura's battle? E. How many physically challenged persons are there in India? 3. Discuss. What can we do to help the physically or mentally challenged children in our school or locality? 4. Something to do. Do a survey of your locality. Find out how many children below the age of 15 are physically or mentally challenged. What is the nature of their handicap? Are they studying? What special needs do they have? What help do they receive? B. Read about Helen Keller or Stephen Hawking. 5. Something to think about. I cannot change the quality of my mental and physical capabilities, but I can develop them to the maximum through my own efforts. I respect everyone, even those less gifted than I am. 6. Something to memorize. There is none so blind as they that won't see. Jonathan Swift. We grumble that God puts thorns with roses. Wouldn't it be better to thank God that He puts roses with thorns? Oh yes, but then he that has no rose will have no crown. Coelus. Chapter 6. Pollution. Running about and playing in the rain used to be one of the great pleasures of children in India till a few years ago. Today in some parts of India it may not any longer be safe to play in the rain. There are a lot of dangerous gases in the air. When raindrops fall through the air, they absorb these gases and the rainwater becomes acidic. If it falls on your skin, it could cause a light burning sensation. After such rain, trees shed their leaves and may even die. Such showers are called acid rains. The Taj Mahal stood beautiful and unchanged for over 250 years. 250 years. In the last 50 years, however, the marble is getting hardened and its color has begun to change. In our culture, we have always considered rivers as sacred. We bathed in them regularly. On special occasions, taking a dip in them was a symbol of making our soul clean from our sins. Today it is dangerous to splash into this river. There is too much sewage from city homes and waste from factories flowing into these rivers. In March 2005, 1,200 tons of untreated sewage was being dumped daily into the Yamuna. Many varieties of fish are becoming extinct. Mineral water was unknown in India except in five-star hotels even 20 years ago. We did not need to look for any specially treated water. It was safe to drink water almost anywhere. Today even water from private wells is often not safe to drink. More and more people are falling ill with bronchitis, asthma, and other breathing disorders because the air is so full of smoke, dust, and dangerous gases. In December 2004, doctors in Delhi declared that 15 to 20% of children saw symptoms of asthma as against 5 to 10% earlier. In September 2004, Calcutta Police inaugurated its first oxygen concentrator plant at Alipur to give the traffic police a breath of cleaner air from time to time. People are beginning to suffer from noise pollution. Hearing high levels of noise constantly results in health problems such as high blood pressure. Sudden explosions as of crackers and fireworks can lead to partial or even complete deafness. Some people suffer from a constant ringing sound in their ears. Noise pollution is known to harm children even before they are born. People living in some areas of big cities may even suffer from light pollution. There is too much light in the night and they cannot sleep properly. In September 2004, scientists at the first International Scientific Conference on Child Leukemia linked increased night light to certain types of cancer, including child leukemia. We now have what are called landfills. These are huge mountains of rubbish collection from towns and cities and thrown into low areas in their neighborhood. This waste contains many dangerous things such as plastic that cannot rot, chemicals from both batteries, parts of machines, spoiled drugs and outdated medicines, etc. These are all mixed together and gradually they release poisonous substances into the air, water and soil. Many cows in our cities die after eating a lot of plastic bags and human hair. They are unable to digest these items. They completely block their alimentary canal. In December 2004, veterinary doctors at Delhi claimed that pollution was causing behavioral disorders and respiratory problems even in pet animals, particularly dogs and birds. One vet treated 20 dogs the day after Diwali. There are three root causes for the greater pollution today than in the past. There are more people today. Each of us uses more goods than earlier, and we produce more waste. There are many more people in our country than ever before. We are second most populous nation in the world and our population continues to grow very fast. Most people are richer today than they were earlier. People with more money want to own more things. Each person living today uses more goods than a person would use some years ago. We do not use some things completely. We do not use them as long as we used to earlier. We throw away now a lot of things we would earlier have continued to use. We prefer to buy new things than continue using an old article. Rich people in cities produce more waste and it is dumped in poor rural areas. Many of the things we use today did not even exist some years ago. No one had invented them yet. These new machines or articles may be very useful for us, but they harm us in two ways. First of all, producing these things cause pollution. Secondly, many of these things cannot be recycled. We cannot break them up and use them to produce new articles. They do not rot and become a part of the earth again. If we burn some of these things or bury them, poisonous gases are produced. In October 2004, the World Wide Fund for Nature estimated that 10% of all mental illness are caused by exposure to poisonous chemicals. The government and other authorities are trying to reduce pollution. They ask producers and owners of cars and other vehicles to make sure that they do not pollute the air too much. They make laws to prevent drivers from blowing the horn unnecessarily. They ask people not to burst crackers or play loud music late into the night. They ask factory owners not to throw their waste into the rivers or release poisonous gases into the air. In some places like Goa and Delhi, littering on a road is forbidden. Since 2005, Mumbai imposes a fine of Rs 1,000 on anyone using plastic bags. A lot of pollution does not depend only on the functioning of the government or large factories. It depends on the behavior of ordinary people. There is the case of plastic bags. They cause the death of so many cattle. They clog our drains. They do not rot in the soil. They poison the air. When we go shopping, we could take cloth bags with us or ask for paper bags rather than polythene ones. We could buy less of things that are packed in flashy plastic packaging and choose items in degradable cardboard boxes. We could say no to plastic every day. Crackers and fireworks poison the air and cause great noise pollution. We could say no to crackers at Diwali and other festivals. School students in Delhi conduct campaigns to reduce the use of crackers at Diwali in their city. We could say no to loud music at our jagrans and festivals, to unnecessary horning while driving, etc. We could continue to use thin longer instead of buying every new model that comes to the market. We could recycle and reuse more items as we used to do earlier: bottles, paper, metallic goods, and pieces of metal, old clothes, etc. We could compost more of our garbage instead of dumping it in public places. We could avoid littering, throwing paper, plastic cups and bags, or anything at all on roads, in parks, into drains, or other public places. We could avoid cutting down trees in our compound, breaking branches of trees, or damaging the bark of trees in parks or on the roadside. We could plant more trees, or at least take better care of the trees planted by others. We could travel more often by trains, buses, and other means of public transport rather than use private cars, motorcycles, etc. We will have to find ways and means to reduce the pollution of the air, water, soil, and ambience if we are to live happy and healthy at the full length of a normal life. Exercise. 1. Answer the following questions. A. What is pollution? B. What are sound pollution and light pollution? C. Give reason for the increase of pollution in recent years. D. What can ordinary people do to decrease pollution? E. How can we control pollution in our society? 2. Are the following statements are true or false? 1. A. More and more people in Delhi are falling ill with bronchitis and asthma. B. Noise pollution cannot do any harm to children before they are born. C. Plastic bags and human hair are excellent food for cows. D. Rich people in cities produce less waste than other people. E. The government is to reduce pollution. F. When we go for shopping, we should always ask for polythene bags to carry our goods. G. We should buy more things packaged in degradable cardboard boxes and less of those packaged in plastic. 8. We could compost more of our garbage instead of dumping it in public places. 3. Discuss. A. We cannot have development without pollution. B. Why is it so difficult to enforce laws about spitting, littering, etc.? 4. Something to do. A. Together with your teacher, organize a mass or a run or some other program to make the public aware of different kinds of pollution. B. Organize your class, your school, or your neighborhood to clean up some area of your town or village. C. Work with your school authorities to reduce littering in and around the school. D. Collaborate with a youth club to plant or to take care of more trees in your area. 5. Something to think about. Would I be willing to do without some of my comforts, gadgets, or facilities in order to have cleaner air to breathe, purer water to drink, and greater peace for a good night's rest? 6. Something to memorize. There is no trifling with nature. It is always true, crave, savor. It is always in the right, and faults or errors fall to our share. Go to Chapter 7. A proud Indian. A proud young Indian. This is a nice time to be alive. This is a beautiful time to be young. This is a wonderful time to be a young person in India. You may ask what there is to be so excited about. There are wars, bombs, and terrorism in various parts of the world. We are surrounded by pain, suffering, death, and evil. There is no peace in the world. This is only one side of the picture. There is also the excitement of change, growth, and development all around us. We produce today more wealth than ever before in history. Food and necessary goods, as well as things that make our life more enjoyable. New discoveries are being made, few things being invented daily. We have the telephone and the internet to chat with people far away. We can have more friends. We can travel comfortably and fast and meet our friends. We have more time and money to do these things. We have today far more opportunities open to us to educate ourselves, to develop our talents, to find good jobs. We have far more free time and many interesting things to do. It is existing to be young in India today. It is exciting to be young in India today. We do have many problems, but over a billion people professing several different faiths, speaking so many languages, belonging to different communities, succeeded to live together mostly in peace and harmony. Mobile telephones were introduced in India only in 1995. By October 2005, there were 67 million people using them. Over 2 million new connections are made every month. In the single month of December 2004, 60,516 people became owners of new cars and 459,458 bikes were bought. In 1999, the ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization, launched a satellite for South Korea and Germany. In 2001, it did the same for Belgium and Germany. It won contracts to repeat the performance for Italy in 2005, Singapore in 2006, and Israel in 2007. India already controls 25% of the world market for knowledge of the Earth's surface gathered by satellites in space. ISRO has now set its sight on launching an unmanned mission to the moon. Once upon a time, India exported only raw materials and agricultural goods. We were looked at as a nation of snake shells. Today, India is the second biggest exporter of computer software in the world. Export of software and services grew by 32% in 2004, accounts for 21.3% of our total exports, and is India's largest export. India accounts for 91% of the total IT service outsourced by European countries. 4/5 of the world's largest 500 companies outsource some work to India. The Tata Consultancy Service alone provides solutions to clients in 32 countries. Doctors in India are said to have performed cataract operations 3,000 years ago. We are today designing our old glory. 1.5 lakh foreigners come to India in 2004 to seek treatment in our hospitals. India has 17% of world population, but only 17% of the world population, but only 2.42% of its land surface. Yet, we are able to produce enough food for all our people. So many young Indians have done great things. There were 7 Indians among the world's top 100 young researchers listed by Massachusetts Institute of Technology in 2004. On 4th October 2004, 12-year-old K. Masha Nazim, a class 8 student from Nagarkoli, devised a technique to prevent trains darting railway stations from their toilets. By September 2005, railway engineers started using her model. Ramesh Raskar has built large computer display systems that combine images from several projects. Ravi Kane created an effective treatment of anthrax in which each drug molecule blocks several toxic molecules rather than just one. The method may become useful in fighting HIV/AIDS. Orko Prabhadhar, a class 10 student of Pragjyotish English High School in Guwahati in 2004, made a model of a space settlement that was chosen by NASA as the best out of 60,000 entries submitted from all around the world. Srinidhi Bharadwajan designed and built the world's third fastest supercomputer from a cluster of 1,100 Apple Macintoshes. The project cost $5 million, whereas other similar supercomputer costs $100 million. In 2004, 13 students of Buddha Dal Public School and Thakur Institute of Engineering and Technology in Patiala traveled to Florida. They were the only foreign team among the 8 of the competition to design a human settlement in space and on the moon. They won the competition. They were led by 19-year-old Abhishek Agrawal. The 2 million strong Indian community in the United States were the best educated and the highest earners in the country in 2004. That year, non-resident Indians sent $23 billion of their earnings back to India. In 2003, Bijoyjar became the Dean of UCLA's Henry Samud School of Engineering and Applied Science in the USA. In 2004, Prith Banerjee was made the Dean of the College of Engineering at the University of Illinois, and Pradip Khosla, the Dean of Carnegie Mellon University's College of Engineering. Lakshmi Mittal is the largest steelmaker and the third richest man in the world, owning property worth $25 billion. Young Sachin Tendulkar has become the greatest batsman in cricket. Above all, he has wonderful values. He says, "I come from a middle-class Maharashtrian family, and we believe that prayers can work wonders." We are slowly coming out in the sports world beyond cricket with new stars like Rathore in shooting, Sania Mirza in tennis, Kanadu Hampi in chess, Anju Babi George in long jump, Narayan Kathigayan in racing, etc. Munsiwari of Bhosra village in Bihar, an illiterate woman of a scheduled caste, led the woman to her area to try out new skills and techniques that have totally changed her entire district. Vegetable vendor Suhasini Mistry was able to start a hospital for the poor of Kolkata. Little 7-year-old Anam Iqbal was severely burnt by a fire in Delhi in May 1999. As she lay dying in the hospital, her only thought was for her sister Soni, who must also have been caught in the fire. No one seemed to be looking for her. "Papa, Didi mere saath thi. Papa, my sister was with me," were her last words before she died. You might say these are exceptions. The reality is far worse. People are poor. They are selfish, self-centered. They only want to get rich first and without working. First of all, these weaknesses are the exceptions. News of these things come in the paper because they are unusual. No one writes about things that go well. No one wants to read about normal events. Secondly, problems are not reasons for discouragement. They are also opportunities. They challenge us. They make us want to change things. No one may notice a rose among thousands of other flowers in a garden. But if there is a rose blooming in the middle of weeds, everyone turns around a look. We can make roses bloom around us. Some of us are waiting to grow up. Others wait for the right conditions to start doing something truly great and wonderful. We say we can't do anything just now because the situation is not favorable. Gandhi may not have become such a great man if India were not a colony at his time. The situation that was not good gave him the opportunity to be great. We are young. We have ideas. We have enthusiasm. We have energy. Years of faithful work lie ahead of us. What is it that we can start doing today to make things better around us? In India, greatness is lying by the roadside for anyone to pick it up. Everything is just right to make people great. Are you ready to pick up the challenge? India can be different if we are not indifferent, is the slogan of a movement. It started a Different India campaign in May 1999. It encouraged people to do simple things to show that change for a better future is possible. A different India is in the making, not through the work of political leaders, government officers, or rich companies. The new India, the different India, is being built by people like you and me. What can you do? What will you do? What is the little change for the better waiting for you to cause in your school, village, or colony? What can you do to make it happen? Who can help you? How will you start? Pick up the greatness being offered to you. Become great. Start off with little things. We have our weaknesses, our problems, but opportunities are also all around us. Exercise. Answer the following questions. A. Why is it exciting to be alive and young today? B. What are the achievements of some young Indians that we can be proud of? C. What are some achievements of India as a nation that we can be proud of? D. What are some of the evils in our country today? E. What is the Different India campaign? Discuss. Every nation gets the government its people deserve. Our government is as good or as bad as we are. Something to do. Distribute the newspaper of the last 1 month among the members of your class. Make cutting of praiseworthy achievements of individuals or group of Indians and of our country as a whole. Make a collage of them. Make a collage of them to hang on the walls of your classroom for a few days. Something to think about. I cannot change the fact that I am born in India. Pride in my people and my place of birth is an essential part of my self-esteem. Something to memorize. The souls in heaven say that those among them will be fortunate indeed who at the end of their sojourn in heaven will be reborn as men in Bharata, which is the gateway both to heaven and self-realization. Vishnu Purana. The soul of India is my highest heaven. The good of the land is my highest good. Vivekananda. The first country in the world is our India. The finest country in the world is our India. Muhammad Iqbal. Let the promise and hopes, the deeds and words of my country be true, my God. Tagore. Swami Vivekananda said, arise, awake, stop not until the goal is reached. Chapter 8. Ugly Indian. In the last chapter, we saw that we have every right to feel proud of being an Indian. On the other hand, there are many characteristics of our behavior that make people give us the title ugly Indian. It is not that we are physically ugly. It is our behavior that is ugly. Some of our habits make it unpleasant for people to live with us as we make progress in sciences, technology, and industry. It is important that we also learn to become more cultured and civilized. Let us look at some of this negative behavior that we have to avoid. You might have seen Leonardo DiCaprio. You might have seen Leonardo DiCaprio in the film Titanic teaching Kate Winslet to speak. That is put into the film precisely to show the difference between the low and high culture of the two of them. Spitting is a very unhealthy, dirty habit. Spitting spreads disease. We should spit only into the waste basin, or the toilet. Grown-up people chew pan and make our office and public spaces horrible to look at. It is even more disgusting when people suck phlegm for their nose into their mouth and then spit it out. Another habit that betrays our low culture is that of urinating in public. Cultured people perform this essential bodily function only in a toilet or a urinal, not on the roadside. It is considered bad manners to scratch ourselves in public. If we feel itchy, it means we do not bathe or wash often enough, or that we have some skin disease. Picking the nose is another dirty and disgusting habit. We may do that in private, but not within view of people. Beating of nails is done only by little children. People who are nervous or are mentally disturbed may also do this, going to the extent of beating till their fingertips bleed. The proper way to deal with long nails is to cut them with a nail cutter. We are a big country with a large population. We often have to stand in queues for various purposes. It is an ugly Indian habit to jump queues and try to get our services before those who have arrived before us and have been waiting for their turn. Similar to this ugly habit is another, that of forcing someone to serve us while he is still dealing with someone else. We find officers trying to serve three or more persons at the same time, not satisfying any one of them and wasting the time of everyone. We have a very ugly type of curiosity. We read the letters of other people, listen to their telephone calls, overhear conversations, look through their personal diaries, rush to watch fights between people or to look at people injured in accidents, etc. Cultured people have better self-control and respect for the privacy of others. We seldom say please, sorry, or thanks. Frequent use of these words is the habit of gentlemen and ladies. Our table manners are also poor. We chew with our mouths open, put our personal spoon into the common plate. We burp and slap, pick our teeth, choose the best part of the food for ourselves, take too much of an item we like, leaving nothing for it for others, etc. While traveling in a group in public vehicles like buses and trains, we shout, sing and run around, disturbing our co-passengers. We litter everywhere, buses, trains, roads, picnic spots, etc. Even where there are garbage bins in our neighborhood. There is more rubbish outside it than inside. Educated people throw their waste in waste basket and leave a place as clean as they found it. We scratch our names on mountains and draw things on walls of toilets. We have no respect for public property. We have no respect for women. We indulge in eve-teasing and passing comments on girls. All these ugly habits of ours make the title Ugly Indian appropriate for us. We need to develop good manners if we are to be seen as an educated cultured, and civilized people. Exercise. Answer the following questions. A. What makes people give us the title of ugly Indian? B. Write about three of our ugly habits. C. How do we display a wrong sort of curiosity? D. Describe our poor eating habits. E. What do educated people do with waste? 2. Discuss. Rich or powerful people may be allowed to behave in whatever manner they want to. Something to do. Get a book of good manners, read it, learn and practice all the rules of good manners. Something to think about. In order to become a lady or a gentleman, what I need most are not expensive clothes or even great knowledge. All I need is to show immense respect towards everyone I meet. Something to memorize. We are all ladies and gentlemen, serving ladies and gentlemen. Hilton Hotel. Chapter 9. Lance Armstrong, the Strong. In July 2005, Lance Armstrong of the U.S. rode in triumph down the Champs-Élysées in Paris in his helmet and yellow jersey. He had just made history. He won the Tour de France for the 7th consecutive year. The Tour de France is the most famous annual cycle race in the world. It is also the most tiresome and difficult race that tests the determination of the cyclists over 22 years. In this race, the fittest athletes in the world ride the bike for 3,657 kilometers in 2 states in the middle of summer. They pedal on mountain roads into valleys and through city streets under great heat and humidity. Their rivals and the race challenged the willpower and the power. During the competition, the best fighter honored by being allowed to wear specially colored jersey. The best sprinter gets a green jersey, the best mountain climber a polka dotted one, but the greatest prize is the yellow one, given to the biker who finished the race in the shortest time. The winner, Armstrong, won the yellow jersey 7 years. Armstrong had no reason to hope to win the Tour de France even once. There is a long story behind it all. Lance Armstrong was very good at sports. Right. At the age of 12, he realized that he was not good at games that use a ball. He had to look for something else at which he could succeed. He practiced distance running. He also joined a swimming club. He used to ride 30 kilometers to his swimming pool. His daily routine was not an easy one for a teenager. Exercise from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. and 7 a.m. the 30 km bike ride and 6 kilometers of swimming practice. At 13, Armstrong entered a triathlon, a combination of contests in biking, skiing, and running. He won time after time, and soon he was declared the junior triathlon champion of the state. He had not taken any specialized training for this triple event. I was discovering that if it was a matter of gritting my teeth, not caring how it looked, and out, outlasting everybody else. I own I did not seem to matter what the course was. In a strange ahead long distance race, I could beat anybody. But all the while, he felt that he was born to race bikes. While he was still at high school, Armstrong started training with the junior national cycling team. He competed, he competed in Moscow and he then won the US Amateur Championship. It was his determination to win that made him a natural champion. In 1996, at the height of his strength march towards stardom, he began to feel unwell. He suffered from continuous headaches, dimmed eyesight and pain. One evening he caught and spat out blood. It was evident that he was seriously ill. Medical tests showed that he had a cancer of the glands and that it had spread to his lungs, abdomen and brain. There were 11 tumors in his lung alone, each as large as a golf ball. He had a mere percent chance of getting cured. All of a sudden, Armstrong felt his world trembling all around him. He felt his career as a biker was over. He had to give up all that he had struggled for. His hours of persisting had all been wasted. All the racing, the trophies, and the fame had come to an end. The feeling of despair the feeling of despair did not last long. Armstrong decided to fight against cancer in the same way in which he had struggled up the ladder in the world of cycling. He would not give in to his illness so easily. He had fought against his pains in the race he had joined. He had defeated well-built, experienced bikers. He would now face the enemy with the same determination and all the forces at his command. He would win his struggle as he had won so many times on the road. His will to live would be his greatest medicine. He approached the best doctors in the US. He wanted doctors with an attitude like his own, who would put up a fight against an almost hopeless case since the cancer was already so advanced. He was operated on. He took high doses on chemotherapy. It was a long, lonely and painful fight. Fear, doubt, pain, and depression tormented him every day during 2 long years. They were the darkest years of his life. Unbelievably, at the end of 2 unhappy years, the doctors declared him free of all cancerous cells. The doctors declared him free of all cancerous cells. He had triumphed over the worst enemy in life he would face in life. Lance Armstrong made 1998 an exciting year for himself. Exciting years for himself. He went back into training. He had to make up for the time he had lost. In the meanwhile, he also made time to found a cancer research society. He took up a new pedaling style and slowly started climbing the ranking ladder. At the end of only 1 year of other tournaments, he won the Tour de France for the first time in 1999. He appeared on the cover page of sports magazines all over the world. I used to write to make a living, not I just want to live so I can bike, he said. At the Sydney Olympics, he got the bronze medal. In the Tour de France of 2005, he had his unique achievement. Lance Armstrong is the only person to win his tournament 7 times in a row. After this 7 victory, he declared his retirement. Armstrong said, "If there is one thing I say to those who use me as their example, it is that if you ever get a second chance in life, you have got to go all the way." That is exactly what he did. No matter what we want to do in life, we will always come across several obstacles on our way. Different people react differently to obstacles. Some just give up, they are failures. Others spend the rest of their life cursing the obstacles and everyone around them. Also, these are failures in life. They are themselves unhappy and they also make everyone around them unhappy. Yet others throw themselves against whatever blocks them without studying them carefully. This is stupid behavior. Few of them succeed, most others get themselves broken. A fourth sort of people study the nature of the obstacle. If it is an insurmountable, if it is an insurmountable one, but one which can be avoided, they take on a new direction or goal in life. If it is an unavoidable obstacle, they concentrate all their energies and forces to overcome the obstacle. They study it carefully to discover its weaknesses. They list their own strengths and advantages. Finally, they draw up a plan to deal with whatever is facing them, and they do it. Exercise. What did Armstrong do when he found that he was not good at games that involved a ball? B. How did he react when he discovered that he had cancer? C. What are the differences between the obstacles Armstrong faced as a boy and the one he encountered as an adult? D. How did he behave on the 2 occasions? E. How do people react to the obstacles? Discuss. A tree does not deepen its roots unless strong winds blow against it and threaten its existence. Something to do. Meet the person in your neighborhood who you think is the most successful person you know. Ask him about the obstacles he faced on his way and how he dealt with them. Share your findings with your class. Something to memorize. True courage is like a kite. Contrary wind raises it higher. J. Peterson. Bravery has no place where it can avail nothing. Samuel Johnson. Far better it is to dare mighty things. It is to dare mighty things, to win glorious triumphs, even through checkered by failure, than to take rank with those poor spirits who neither enjoy much nor suffer much because they live in the grey twilight that knows no victory nor defeat. Theodore Roosevelt. Give us the fortitude to endure the things which cannot be changed, the courage to change the things which should be changed, and the wisdom to know one from other. Oliver J. Hart. A deep, resolute mind rises above all difficulties. Atharva Veda. Surrender has no room in my plan of life. Mahatma Gandhi. Chapter 10. Yoga. But yoga is derived from the Sanskrit word yuj, which means union. The aim of yoga is to unite man with all the force of nature and with the infinite supernatural force of the spirit. It is not a religion, nor is it merely a set of physical exercises to build our muscles. The beauty of yoga is what it deals with the entire man, not with just one of his aspects. It promotes growth, physical, mental, moral, and spiritual. It starts from improving our physical health and well-being and then goes on to the mental and the spiritual. The change is slow and we may not even notice what has happened to us until we suddenly realize that we are actually thinking differently too. Through yogic meditation, we come closer to our supernatural nature. Yehudi Menuhin is a violinist and the conductor of the famous New York Philharmonic Orchestra. He considers his yoga more important than his violin practice for the quality of his musical performance. He gave a watch as a gift to his yoga teacher, B.K.S. Lenga of Pune, with the inscription, "To my best violin teacher." Many actors, actresses, singers, models, and beauticians recommend it warmly because of their own personal experience with it. Yoga is useful not only for artists and musicians, it helps businessmen and sportsmen, public workers, public speakers and housewives, workers and farmers. Yoga exercises help us to develop a slim, youthful, and athletic figure. It can improve the quality of life of everyone. According to George W. Crane, the deep breathing taught by yoga is an excellent help in case of a heart attack. He wrote, "Simply lie flat, relax, breathe deeply, and let God carry on." Yoga can be done by everyone, no matter his age, health condition, or profession. All it takes is a regular routine of about 15 minutes a day to get peace of mind and sense of calm. Yoga leaves you feeling happy and peaceful. Those who have experienced it say that once you have tried it a few times, you cannot imagine. It is that relaxing. Yoga promises a more peaceful way of being, something we need more than anything else in the world today. Yoga began in India several thousand years ago. It could be as much as 6,000 years old. Hence, there is no way of knowing who started the practice of yoga, but Patanjali, who lived about 200 BC, is often called the father of yoga. It was he who first put into writing what had till then been handed down from parents to children through actual practice. It is true that we can influence our mind and spirit through the regular use of a set of physical exercises. Our spirit dwells in our body. The body, mind, and spirit influence another. The better functioning any one of them has a good effect on the others. Yoga consists mainly of a series of poses and stretches that give energy to our body, making us calm, balanced, and focused. The aim of yoga posture is not only the external development of muscles. These postures affect the functions of the entire body. They correct our breathing, circulation, disease, digestion, elimination, metabolism, etc. They improve the thinking, the improve of working of the glands and other internal organs as well as the nervous system and mind. that in turn that in turn improves our mental capacity, sharpens our sense and widens our intellectual horizon. This is the result of combining deep breathing with different posture of the body. Through yoga, the circulation of the blood, the condition of the muscles and nerves, the very thoughts that enter our mind are all subjected to greater control. The science of yoga has a separate part for every body organ and cares for every body function. Its methods are totally different from other methods of healthcare because it aims first of all at removing the very causes of ill health. Most of our discomforts are because of shallow breathing, unhealthy food habits, inadequate exercise, and irregularly in the elimination of waste and poison from the body. Yoga teaches the philosophy of exercise. We experience an awakening through it. We achieve balance and stamina. All our capacities are heightened. Yoga teaches relaxation as an art, breathing as a science, and mental control of the body as a means of harmonizing the body, mind, and spirit. Yoga does not cure any illness. It is the body itself which can heal us. The exercise of yoga only removes the impurities and blocks in the body and improve the functions of our glands. They produce a balance of the harmonies within our body. Healing comes as a natural result. A proper diet is an important part of yoga if we would like to have its benefit to the full. The food we eat is mostly decided by our elders at home, but there is a lot of junk food that we take in, entirely of our own free choice. We do it mostly because they seem to be the in thing at the moment. Coals, burgers, hot dogs, chips, etc. There are rather other harmful foods that we eat because they are tasty: chocolate, sweets, coffee, tea, etc. An easy rule to remember as regards food is this: the fresher the food is, the healthier it is. Food that is processed, pickled, refined, bottled, canned, etc. avoided as yoga is particularly useful for students. The ability to calm yourself, to keep peaceful mind, and to concentrate your attention is very useful, especially in the days immediately before and during the examinations. Do not neglect your yoga in order to have a few extra minutes to receive extra minutes to revise your lessons. The 15 minutes spent on yoga can have the benefits of an hour of study because your concentration and calm make your efforts far more effective. It is not possible to learn yoga in a lesson 2 or value education. Here all we do is to know a little about yoga and encourage you to learn it and practice it on a regular basis. Exercise. Answer the following question. A. Which aspects of the human being benefit from the practice of yoga? B. Who can derive benefits from the practice of yoga? C. Where did yoga originate? Who is considered its father? Why? D. What does yoga essentially consist of? E. How does yoga benefit our health? F. In what way is yoga beneficial for students? 2. Are the following statements True or false? A. Yoga is a religion. B. Yoga deals only with the body of man. C. Yoga is not good for young people. D. Yoga is not good for modern life. E. Yoga illness. F. A proper diet is an important part of yoga. G. Yoga is particularly useful for students. Discuss. Yoga is ancient and outdated. It is slow and time-consuming. It is better to do something like aerobics. Something to do. Join the yoga classes in your school or at home, other institute, or at some other institute in your neighborhood. Practice yoga for at least 15 minutes a day. 15 minutes a day. 6. Something to think about. Good health is something more than an absence of illness. Good health is also a sense of well-being. Yoga develops the sense of well-being. It prevents illness. Something to memorize. Only a few men die from sudden lack of air, but multitudes perish because for years they have not been breathing enough. Ransom Alaskar. Infinite energy is at the disposal of man if he knows how to get it. And this is a part of the science of yoga. Adam Baek. Yoga is one of the greatest disciplines in the world and can be practiced at each stage with positive results. It is an unfailing source of vitality and good humor. Yehudi Menuhin. Chapter 11. Giving. Rabindranath Tagore of a beggar who heard that the king of the land was soon to pass his way. He was determined not to miss the golden opportunity to save himself from his poverty. He would get a generous gift from such a rich and powerful person. He stood by the outside very early as the king and his routine approached, and his retinue approached. The beggar stretched his hand out eagerly. The king rode up, saw the beggar, and stopped. He did not take his purse out and offer some gold coins to the man. Instead, he stretched his own hand out to him with its palm facing upward, empty. The king was begging something for himself. The beggar was disgusted. Unhappy, he opened his little bag, took out a single grain of rice and placed it in the palm of the king. The king smiled, bowed his head in thanks, and rode away. The beggar went home in anger, cursing the king every step of the way for having made him waste a whole day. As the beggar was washing his eyes that evening, he noticed a glint in his basin. He searched carefully and found a grain of gold, as large as a grain of rice. Very eagerly, he emptied his bag and spread out all the rice on the floor of his hut. Alas, there was but one single grain of gold in all his eyes. He understood then that the grain of rice he had given to the king had been turned into a grain of gold. He wished he had been generous enough to give away his entire bag of rice to his king. Jesus Christ said, "What you have received free of charge, give away free of charge." It is In the measure you give that you will be given. Given a full measure, pressed down, shaken, and overflowing. It, if a man asks you for your shirt, give him your coat as well. If he asks you to go a mile with him, go too. According to a study by the of India Center for Philanthropy in Delhi, Indians are not great givers. Pushpa Sundar, the director of the center, says that the study shows that the people of the other seven South Asian countries are more generous than Indians. Also, most of the donations to go to known people, relatives and friends. This seems to show that our giving is little more than helping ourselves or helping people who would help us one day in routine or have already helped us in the past. It was Jesus again who said, when you give a party, do not invite your rich relatives and friends who may invite you in return. Invite instead the poor and stranger because they cannot invite you back and they will we get for our giving. The gifts we give are the only things we truly own. A gift is a double blessing. It blesses him who receives it and him who gives it. Swapnil Prabha started as a teenager to visit a house for abandoned children run by the Sisters of Mother Teresa in Delhi. She writes, I had gone to the shelter to teach and help, but I soon realized that it was I who was learning a lot. She felt that she received from the children there more than she gave them. There are many ways of giving. She has seen to beggars lying on the footpath. Their action is similar to that of a person throwing a bone to a dog. Even a dog seems to feel the difference between a person who throws a bone to it and one who gives it because he likes animals. It is better not to give anything to the poor than to give it in a way that insults and humiliates them. A person's need for dignity is greater than his need for food. Swapnil Prabha writes, I learned how difficult it is to love and be useful. For the first time, I realized the true meaning of charity. Charity is not only giving people food and clothing, but also love and care. It is not sympathy they want from us. They want us to teach them how to love. They want to know that there is someone in the world who cares about them. Another way of giving is that of the money lender. The money has to be repaid at an exorbitant rate of interest. You may have read about bonded labor. A rich person lended money to a poor man in his moment of need. In return, the borrower has to spend years working at very low wage to pay back the loan and its interest. The giving is only to make the poor man a slave forever. This is no donation. It is not charity. It is not giving. It is plain stealing from people who are already very poor. We have to learn to give in a way that to become independent, and free. The Chinese used to say, if you give fish to someone, he will have one good meal. If you teach him to catch the fish, he will feed himself for the rest of his life. There is also a way of giving that makes people lazy. This too has to be avoided. It is not the amount we give that matters the most. Here again, we have the story of Jesus who sat one day at the entrance to the temple, watching people put money into the collection box. There are many who came in and dropped gold and silver coins, making a big show of their generosity. Then there came in a poor widow who quietly put in a two cups coin. Jesus said, "Believe me, that poor widow has been more generous than all the others. They gave a little out of their abundance. She instead put in all she had." Newspapers and TV channels make collections to help people affected by floods, cyclones, or earthquakes. They promise to publish the names of those who give more than 1,000 rupees. There are many who give rupees 1,001 to make sure their name is printed in the paper. There are others who write several checks, each of for rupees 999 donation, but because they do not want any publicity for their generosity. Others give but they want to remain anonymous. It is not because a person is good that we help him. We help him because he needs help. Aristotle, the ancient Greek philosopher, was once criticized because he gave alms to a bad man. He replied, I did not give it to the man, I gave it to humanity. Dr. Will Mayo of the famous Mayo Clinic was very rigid in demanding payments for his service. When a young man who had just completed high school needed a serious operation, he agreed that the payment could be made in installments when he would start working. When the last installment had been paid, the young man received a note saying, "You have shown yourself and me that you could do it. Now put this in the bank and make it grow." Dr. Mayo had sent him back a check for the full amount plus interest. Money or material goods are not the most important things to give or the most difficult to give. As students, perhaps we do not often have the possibility of giving these things, but as Swapnil Prabha discovered, we all have time, love, and concern that we can share. These are the things that the poor, the aged, the handicapped, and the other need the most. Exercise. Answer the following questions. A. What did Jesus Christ have to say about giving? B. How do Indians compare to others as regard giving? C. What did Swapnil Prabha learn about giving? D. What are some of the ways of giving? E. How important is the quantity of what we give to others? F. Is it important to be thanked and prized for our gifts? Discuss. We should not give anything to the poor because most of them are lazy. They are cheap and the worst. Something to do. Study with your classmates and you or family in what way you can give of your time and your love to those who are in your neighborhood. There are people who refuse to receive gifts on occasions like birthday, wedding, etc. They ask people instead to give them money, which they give away to an institution for the poor in their neighborhood. They ask their family to give a meal to the orphanage and a party to their friends. To do something similar? Something to think about. It is purely by accident that I was born into my family. If I were born into a poorer family, how different my life would have been. Something to memorize. When I die, I should be ashamed to live enough for a moment if a friend in want was above ground. Alexander Pope. There are three kicks in every dollar. One when you make it, one when you have it, and the biggest kick of all is when you give it away. William Allen White. It is better to give than to lend, and it costs about the same. Sir Philip Gibbs. A man there was, and he gave, but more he had. Byron. What I spent I had, what I gave I have, what I kept I lost. Old Evans. What you set free is yours forever. Clutch at and clutch at and it is gone. Tagore. Page 52. Chapter 12. Turn into abundance. There was an old teacher in a primary school who used to chew pan. He was a fine man and a good teacher. The students and their parents had great respect for him. Practically every day, one student or another would bring him fresh pan leaves from home. He would place these carefully into his bag. When he wanted to chew pan the next time, he would take out a leaf from the supply of the day before or even 2 days earlier, already yellow and drying. This is very sad. Here is someone with fresh green leaves in his pocket. He is almost certain of getting fresh supplies every day, but his few leaves what are drying up because he cannot bring himself to throw the old leaves away and enjoy the abundance he has. This is not surprising among people who have been poor, those who lived through a long war. For instance, towards the end of the Second World War, a lot of starving children were saved from camps. They were then plenty of meat every day. They were well looked after in every sense, but at the beginning, some of these children were not able to fall asleep at night. The officers decided to give them an extra loaf of bread which they were allowed to keep. All the children were then able to sleep easily. They had not been able to fall asleep earlier because they were still afraid they would not have enough food the next day. Not only the poor are afraid of scarcity, even the wealthy man suffers from it. The poor wealthy. John D. Rockefeller made his first $1,000,000 by the age of 33. He once sent a load of grain worth $40,000 by ship. He did not insure his cargo. He felt that it was a waste. $150. A few days later, he heard of a great storm somewhere on the route of his ship. Rockefeller could not sleep the entire night, worrying about his cargo. Early next morning, he sent his assistants to try and buy insurance, if it was not already too late. A few hours later, the assistant returned happy with proper insurance. But he found Rockefeller more sick than ever. A telegram had just arrived with the news that his ship had reached safe and sound. Rockefeller was very sad because he had spent $150 unnecessarily. The wealthy poor. Mother Teresa once heard of a starving widow in a slum in Kolkata. She took a plate of rice and curry and went to visit her. Mother entered the little hut, sat on the floor and placed the food before the woman. The widow uncovered the packet and saw what it was. She took the plate and went out. When she returned, mother asked her where she had gone. Just across the road, she replied, is a friend who has also not eaten for 3 days. I went to give her some of the food you brought. The poor woman felt the poor woman felt she had plenty and could share with her neighbor. It is the state of our mind that decides negative consequences. The first consequences of a scarcity mentality is that we live in misery always. However rich, healthy, intelligent, and famous we may be, we are not happy because we think we do not have enough of one thing or another. We compare ourselves to others. We always find out someone who has something more than we do. We are afraid and unhappy because we have less than they do. A second negative consequence is a second negative consequence is that it makes us greedy. The Mahatma used to say that the world has enough for the needs of everyone, but not for the greed of anyone. When we have a scarcity mentality, we are afraid the supply of things around us will soon finish. We try to grab everything and we end up having nothing at all. Wealth and property are like water. We can hold quite a bit of water in open, cupped hands. But if we try to close our fists to hold on tight to the water, we are left with nothing. There was once a man who wanted to trap a monkey. He made a big trap and placed bananas in it, but no monkey would enter into it. They seemed to recognize that it was a trap. He then made a small metal container with just a little opening on its side. He placed some nuts in it and attached it to a tree. The very first monkey that saw of them, the first was too large to be pulled out, but he would not let go to the nuts. He was trapped, though only by his first, by only his, though only by his, by his. The third consequence, scarcity mentality. You look at wealth or image. People with a scarcity mentality think the supply of everything is limited. Marks and examinations, the love of their parents, praise, appreciation, fame, good name, etc. If someone else has some of these, it means there will be less of it for them. So they are not happy when other people succeed. These successful people had taken away something that belonged to them. And abundance means that humans to make my dreams come true. That in order for me to succeed, I need not make everyone else fail. Their success does not prevent my own. And that I can share what I have with people who have less than I do. People with an abundance mentality are self-confident. trusting, open, generous, and able to respect people who are different. They are happy at the success of others. They are able to appreciate and praise them. They have a wide vision. They think big. They expect to succeed. And they do. Building an abundance mentality. I build my self-confidence. I am sure of what I have. I know what I can do. I can then appreciate the successes of others. I set small targets for myself and achieve these little goals I set for myself. This gives me confidence in my ability. I can succeed without putting down anyone else. I place my trust in God. I know God loves me. He cares for me. He is interested in my welfare. He will not let me down as long as I make use of all the abilities He has given me. I help others without expecting a reward. I am so sure of my self-worth that I do not need any recognition from others, not even their trust. Even able to help others without them or anyone else ever knowing of it. I know I can help others without suffering a loss myself. In fact, the more I help, the more I gain. I get more than I give away. I grow. I count my blessings before retiring to bed. For the night, I make a list of all the good that happened to me that day. Successes at studies, games, or work. The love and appreciation I received from others. The joy I gave to others. It takes only a week or two to realize how abundantly God blesses me every day. I have a lot of friends. Friends are my wealth, far more than money or other materials. I am loyal. I praise my friends when they are with me and even more so in their absence. I defend them when others speak badly of them. This loyalty makes my friends appreciate my friendship more. I do not worry about it. I forgive myself and others. I do not despise myself for every small mistake I make. Nor do I despise others for theirs. I admire my mistakes. I admit my mistakes. I know I always have another chance. I give others also another chance. Exercise 1. Answer the following questions. A. Why do poor people often have a sense of insecurity? B. Give an example of a scarcity. C. Give an example of a poor person with an abundance mentality. D. What are the negative consequences of a scarcity mentality? E. What is meant by an abundance mentality? Abundance mentality. 2. Discuss. No one ever has enough of anything. 3. Something to do. Make a collection of all the extra clothes, books, and other things that all the members of your class have at home and give them away to people who really need them and can use them. 4. Something to think about. It is possible to be perfectly content however little I may have. Something to memorize. One who eats all by himself sins all by himself. Rig Veda. Look at the birds flying around. They do not sow seeds, gather a harvest and put it in barns. Yet your Father in heaven takes care of them. Are not you worth much more than birds? Look how the wildflowers grow. They do not work to make clothes for themselves. But I tell you, that not even King Solomon, with all his wealth, had clothes as beautiful as one of these flowers. It is God who clothes the wild grass that is here today and gone tomorrow, burnt up in the evening in the oven. Won't he be all the more sure to clothe how you have Jesus Christ? Chapter 13. Living Together. The Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh once ordered a procession of the state transport buses that had been burnt by the public in protest against one thing or another. The message to the public was, we, the buses, are not guilty of anything. Why do you burn us? Historical monuments. A group of students went on an educational tour. Their wise headmaster gave them a task before they set out. He told them to carry a pocketbook and pen with them wherever they went. He wanted them to note down all the names of the people written if millions of people who do not and will never meet us read our names, it is fine to have our names as picture we have painted, an article, story or poem we have written, or a photo that we clicked. It is shameful to leave our names scratched on the walls of some great mountains built with great skill by our ancestors at great cost and sacrifice. These buildings have stood unharmed for countries till the arrival of today's educated and civilized society. Public toilets. How many clean public toilets have you seen? And how many of them have you found without crude and Signboards in cities all over India with signboards of the place that say, do not throw rubbish here. Below them you will invariably find heaps of rubbish. Some say the CTE is responsible for all vendors and sins out of the train. Actually, we are fortunate that these beggars boys come in every now and then to sweep the floor of the train. If they did not, the train would be full of groundnut shells, paper cups, banana skins, orange peels, cigarette butts, and other waste which we keep dropping on to the floor of the train. Smoking in closed public places. There is one rule that is in force all over India, even in the farthest corner of our vast country. This is the rule forbidding smoking in the bus. Breathing in the smoke that someone else blows out is even more harmful to health than smoking itself. Yet, in the buses in Delhi, where people struggle even for space enough to stand, there are some who hold on to a cigarette or bidi above their heads. They stretch their heads up to puff on their stick of poison in the middle of the crowd. In 1999, the state of Kerala forbade smoking in public. The song made visible for the whole atmosphere. Speech public places is forbidden in Goa. Taking this law will draw a penalty of a rupees. In Singapore, an even more strict law has been conferred since years. The fine for spitting and littering, throwing waste, even a piece of paper on the streets is 100 Singapore dollars. Chewing gum is forbidden because when the gum is no longer wanted, people have to spit it out. Some people even stick it to the furniture used by the public. Cleanliness. A visitor from Colombia remarked how on his first morning in our country he was greatly impressed and nearly making himself vomit with his efforts to clean his teeth, tongue and throat. The Colombian changed his opinion within the same day when he saw the same neighbor spitting and urinating on the roadside. It is the same as regards the cleanliness of our homes. We make great efforts to have everything very clean within the four walls of our house, but it is not uncommon to see people throw their rubbish out the window on the road. We want our own person effectively, but I cannot mind any amount taking rubbish just outside the four walls of our house or compound. We try to travel without taking tickets because all trains and most buses belong to the government. We wait for the government to do everything for us, free of charge. The first means of protest that occurs to us is to burn government property. The British have a phrase to express this attitude. Let George do it. The phrase was coined during the reign of King George. It means to say, that is not my problem. It is the problem of the king, of the government. Respect for others. A few years ago, there were strong protests because an American boy studying in Singapore was punished. He was flogged for deliberately breaking a shop window for no special reason. Many wanted the boy to be forgiven, saying it was just a youthful prank. The authorities felt that his conduct showed a lack of civic sense and respect for the rights of the other people, and ought to be punished according to the law. We do not respect the rights of others. Marriage halls blast their music beyond their walls. Those who live nearby cannot sleep right up to the early hours of the morning. This happens practically every single night, particularly in the night. This total disregard of our neighbors is one of our commonest sins. Jagrans, family prayer functions, religious festivals, marriage, birthday, elections, holidays, or days of importance in the life of one individual or one family. All of them become occasions when the entire neighborhood is drowned in music and noise at all hours of the day and night. We expect everyone in our neighborhood to be in the same mood we are in and to share in our celebrations whether they want to or not. Electricity and water. All over India, people just hook on to the power line closest to their house. If someone gets a shock while engaged in making this illegal connection, they demand compensation from the government. It is difficult to get a legal connection to the water supply too, so we make a hole in the main pipe nearest to our house and fix one of our own. Even if the joints are not a proper fit and a lot of good water leaks out wastefully, we are not worried provided we get enough water in our own tap. Roads. We do not think twice before making pandals right in the middle of the public road to hold political meetings, marriage, or other celebrations. We do not see anything wrong even in digging holes in the paved area of the road to plant the pillars properly. Later, when these holes develop into large craters, we complain that the government does not repair the roads. We could easily fill a whole book with examples of this sort, all showing our poor civic sense. How much respect do we show for signboards that read, "Keep off the grass," or "Please do not plant water," do not pluck flowers, or "Do not feed the animals." How about the posters we stick on the walls in public and private buildings, never thinking of removing them once the occasion has passed? What exactly is the civic sense? We would say it has just two important elements: respecting the rights of others and caring for all common property as we do for our own. The government, the school, the hospital, and other institutions do not have anything that we ourselves or our parents have not paid for. Their only source of income are the taxes, fees, or other charges we pay. Some of these we pay directly and we are aware of them. The rest we pay indirectly and we may not even be aware of them. When we destroy, dirty, or damage any property belonging to any of these, we are wasting our money and slowing down the progress of our nation and our institutions. Everyone has the desire and the right to use clean and well-functioning common services like roads, buses, trains, toilets, hospitals, etc. Scouts and guides are trained to leave their campsite or the places they visit or the things they use in the same condition in which they found them. There is absolutely no harm in having fun and enjoying ourselves, provided what we do to have fun does not cause harm or discomfort to our neighbors. Exercise. Answer the following questions. A. How do visitors to historical monuments show their disrespect for them? B. Give examples of our lack of respect for others in public places. C. What is the usual attitude of my people to cleanliness? D. How do we disturb others with our music and noise? E. How do we show our disregard for public property? F. What is civic sense? 2. Discuss. How can we take care of the public property in our place? How can we raise the awareness among the local people about the need to do this? 3. Something to do. Organize an activity of public service as a class or as a school for the benefit of your locality. 4. Something to think about. I myself am the victim, at least in some measure, of any damage I cause to public or common property. 5. Something to memorize. In everything, do to others as you would have them do to you. The Bible. They who neglect their social duties for their individual life fall in darkness. Isha Upanishad. What is harmful to you, do not do to your fellow man. The Talmud. Citizenship comes first today in our crowded world. No man may enjoy the privilege of education and thereafter, with a clear conscience, break his contract with society. To respect that contract is to be mature, to strengthen it is to be a good citizen, to do more than your share under it is to be noble. Yasya Brahman. All those who allow themselves a wrong liberty make themselves their own aim and object. Henry Suso. No one of you is a believer until he desires for his brother that which he desires for himself. Sunnah. Chapter 14. Sing thanks. You are approaching the end of the school year. This is a fitting occasion for you to pause for a moment and take a look back at the past year. Think of all those who have made your days so beautiful till now. So many people have brought you so much happiness and joy. So many people have loved you and cared for you. For all these people and to all these people in this last month of this school year say, thank you, I love you. Often enough you brought me joy and happiness in spite of myself. May God bless you all. In some places in India, all the members of a family gather together every evening for their prayer. At the end of the prayer, all of them greet each other individually, person to person. They go to every one senior to them and greet him, and they are greeted in return. The most beautiful part of this fine custom is the greeting of the mother. The children approach her, greet her, and then kiss her, but not on her cheeks as is done in some cultures, but in the palm of her hands. This is a most meaningful, beautiful custom. The kiss on the mother's palm says, I love you because you love me so much, and I know it from all the work these hands of yours do for me each day. How long is it since you thanked your parents and the people around you for all the small and big things they do to make your life more pleasant? We take a lot of things for granted, like the love and help of our parents and other relatives. On the one hand, it is true that it is a law of nature that parents love their children. Parents love their children. On the other hand, you have probably seen families where life is full of quarrels and fights. A few years ago, there was a cyclonic storm in Belgium. The next day, a family noticed that the chimney on the roof of their neighbor's house was leaning dangerously towards their home. They went and knocked on the doors of this house. They wanted to request the owners to repair the chimney. There was no reply to the knocks. They informed the police and the fire brigade. When they arrived and no response, they broke the door open and entered the house. They found that the house had been unused for years. There was the skeleton of a woman on a bed. Doctors said she must have died at least 13 years earlier. The lady had been a widow, but she did have a son. The two of them had quarreled some years earlier. The man then abandoned his mother completely. Is it possible for us to to imagine a son who would not even check whether his mother was still alive or not. We may think such things do not happen in India, but not long ago there was a program on television discussing the sufferings of old people in India who have been thrown out of their homes by their own children. These children wanted to enjoy the property of their parents undisturbed by their parents, undisturbed by their presence. Some of us celebrate every year a Father's Day and a Mother's Day when we specially express our gratitude to our parents. But there is nothing very special about doing so on those particular days because then everyone is doing it. Everyone is expected to do it. What would make us special would be if our parents could realize from our day-to-day words and behavior how much we love them and are grateful to them. This is not always easy. When we reach a certain age, we may begin to think our parents and think our parents are so old-fashioned, out of date, etc. It is true that we need to develop our own responsibilities, have our own ideas, and build our own life. We need to be able to stand on our own feet. But this does not mean that we have to stop respecting our parents. We cannot forget all the love they gave us all these years. We cannot ignore the work they have done and the sacrifices they have made for our welfare. We can remain respectful and obedient even when we disagree with them. Make no mistake about it. We owe our very existence to them. This is more true about today's young people than ever before. If we are alive now, it is because of a very conscious decision our parents took to have us. Teachers. Every year we also celebrate the 5th of September as Teachers' Day. This celebration alone does not make up for a year of disrespect and disobedience. Here is another custom from one of India's numerous culture. The day before a couple are to get married, they pay a visit to the teacher who taught them to read and write in nursery class. He had 20 years or more ago held their hand and helped them trace out the first letters of the alphabet. The learning process they started off so many years ago changed them totally through the efforts of several more teachers during the years of their education. The parents now take the young man and woman to their respective nursery school teacher. Bearing generous gift, they touch his feet and ask for his blessings. In this way, the day before they finally settle down and start a family of their own, they express their gratitude to him and symbolically to all the other teachers that followed. There is no way we can repay in cash or with gifts many of the services that our teachers have given us. They do not probably need or expect gifts from us either. It is our respect and our gratitude that bring them true joy. How often do we use words like please, thank you, and sorry to our present and past teachers? Gratitude to God. One of the most important national holidays in the United States of America is the Thanksgiving. The early European settlers in the continent had a tough time in their first years. They had to produce in the short summer period enough food to last them through the long winter. Thanksgiving was celebrated after the harvest to thank God for a truthful agricultural year. All of us believe in God, but mostly remember Him only when we are in trouble and need His help. When the problem is overcome and things have settled down, we forget to thank Him for the help we received from Him, sometimes in ways that we do not even know. The story is told of two angels who were sent by God to collect all the prayers of the people on earth. They went from house to house, collecting the prayers of children and their troubled parents. They visited hospitals and places of work. They went whether humans were to be found, not a prayer was to be forgotten. When finally they had to return to heaven, one of the angels could hardly fly up. His basket was so full of the prayers said by so many people. The second angel was surprised by his sad plight, for he himself had but a very light load in his basket. "What's the matter?" asked this angel. "Why do you have such a heavy load? What sort of prayers did you collect?" "I collect all the prayers that started with 'I want' and 'please give me,'" he replied. "I can hardly lift this load of mine." "And what prayers did you collect?" "Well," replied the second angel, "now I understand your heavy load. I only collected the prayers that start with 'Thank you, Lord, for.' We pray often to ask God for favor. We pray seldom to thank Him for what He does for us. Is there much that we need to be grateful to God for?" My little daughter said, "Daddy, I am going to count the stars." "Very well," I said, "go on." By and by I heard her counting. 223, 224. "Oh dear," she said. "I had no idea there were so many." I sometimes say in my soul, "Now, Master, I am going to count your blessings." Soon my heart sighs, not with sorrow, but burdened with such goodness, and I say to myself, I had no idea that there were so many. Mark Pierce. Is there much for thank God for? Our life, our body and mind, our health, our parents and our family, our earth and all that is on it, the rain and the snow, the flowers, the bees and the butterflies. Is there anything at all that we do not like to thank Him for? Perhaps we can make a long list here too. Our sickness, pains, misunderstandings, death, poverty, anger, envy, jealousy. Most of these do not come from God. We create some of them for ourselves. For the rest, we remember the man who said, "I closed my feet because I had no shoes for my feet till I came across a man who had no feet for his shoes." We thank God even for those unpleasant things in our life for which we do not yet have a logical explanation. We pray that we may discover one day the reasons for the difficulties and obstacles He has placed in our way. Are they perhaps His invitators for even more greatness from us? Greatness we develop by reaching out to the stars in spite of these burdens, as so many special people before us have done. It is the end of the year. It is good to take a little time off to make a few lists, a list of all the things that we have to thank our parents and our other relatives for, a list of the other persons in our life, such as our teachers, who have contributed to make us who we are today. A very long list of all the things we can and we ought to thank God for. Exercise. Answer the following questions. A. Explain the custom of greeting family members, especially the mother, as given in the lesson. B. Why should we be grateful to our parents? C. How can we show our gratitude towards our parents? D. What gives joy to our teachers? E. What have we to thank God for? 2. Discuss. A grateful person is a great person. 3. Something to do. Make 3 lists of all that you need to be grateful for. One of all you have received from your parents. The second of all your teachers, friends or relations who have helped you in your life so far. And the third of all you have received from God. The End Lessons for Living, Part 6, read by Hassan Zaman only. 22nd February 2015.